Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast, powered by GamblersWorld.net. I'm your host, Sean Higgs. It's Monday, August 19th. I got Doug Upstone with me. He's one of a 13-piece of handicappers at GamblersWorld.net, where you can find all of our premium selections. And we have a little NFL early bird up right now, $5.99 for your NFL early bird. And listen, we have week 0 of college football this weekend. You start getting on board now, it's going to cost you about $25 a week through the Super Bowl. That's not a bad deal. And I'm not going to speak for Doug. I'll speak for myself. I know when I put out like a 3-pack, it's like $34, $39.99 or something like that. So money management, we talk about that when we rate games and just in general, right? You wouldn't leave $20 on the ground if you saw it in a parking lot. Why would you leave it on the ground here? Save the money. Long-term NFL early bird $5.99, and if you just want baseball, we could do that for $3.49 for the rest of the year. So it is heating up. It is the playoff push for a lot of teams, and this week, me, Chip, and Doug, we're going to be covering a lot of these playoff kind of matchups. That's what I was kind of looking at this week. We'll see how these lines are. Who knows? I mean, a lot of TBA pitchers around the board, but hopefully we get some good matchups here. Today we got 2. We're going to talk about the Red Sox and Astros, the Mariners and the Dodgers. But first, Doug, welcome on in. What did you think about NFL this weekend? I want to just talk about, they got rid of the preseason 1 game, Hall of Fame game. Let's sit, guys. I think it affects the product on the field. I mean, how many good quarterbacks are there? 14-2 under weekend, 26-6. They were 12-4 last weekend. The unders galore. I don't like it. I think we have maybe 10 really good quarterbacks. 14-2, 26-6. I think that's 81% is what I saw on this unders. Wow. And but whatever. I had some good numbers. I ended up splitting out this weekend, even having better numbers. But what do you feel about the NFL preseason? I used to be a fan. I'm not as much as a fan anymore.
No, I mean, well, why would you be? I mean, it's generally speaking, it's just not as interesting, first of all. What's surprising more than anything, though, you mentioned about the unders, is that there was more than I would have expected. Because if you go back, let's see here, go back maybe 6 years, there was a ton of unders. There was a ton of totals that were 30-33. Okay, probably go back 6-7 years. That was like standard protocol. That was a rubber stamp play. Now there's been a lot of 35s, 38s, 39s, and they're going under, obviously, easily, okay, in these games. So I'm not exactly sure as to why. And, I don't watch much preseason, but, I mean, if you even look at a couple of box scores or look at them, and then you look at, like, the yards per throw, okay, or yards per attempt with the various quarterbacks, I mean, everything is just all super short passes. And, it's the old let the receiver make the play type stuff. Okay. And when you're talking about backups, I mean, you're just not going to get much of that, you don't see the guys throwing deep. I had that San Francisco Denver game on last night, just in the background, and, just was that's all it was. Short passes. Yeah. It's backup quarterbacks. I get it, trying to play safe. But if this is the offense, I don't know. It's not real encouraging. I mean, I know they want to be conservative. So, yeah, I mean, and then, and the other part, now this week, you have the issue is it just lock everybody down, or do some teams come to play?
Yeah. So normally in the past, it was kind of like and I had success in the NFL preseason. This year, I'm 500. I'm not killing it. I'm not getting crushed. But this is where the coaches say, this is what we're going to do. Okay, hi, Josh Allen's going to play a half. He didn't even play the game. Totally swung the line. It was He's not playing. It's 5.5. He plays. It goes down to 1. They still ended up winning. But this is the kind of nonsense that I got to say leaves a bad taste in my mouth. He used to be able to be ready for a team to come out and play a full kind of dress rehearsal kind of game. You're not seeing that? I mean, maybe the Jaguars. The Jaguars were 4 this morning. It is now at 7. Are we assuming that we're going to see a full Jaguar team here? Or maybe it's because the Falcons say, you know what? We saw enough out of Penix. We're gonna wrap him up in a bow, let him sit behind Kirk Cousins for the next 3 years. Like, what is going on here? How the team like the Panthers not playing Bryce Young? really, you're older than me. I'm old enough to remember you'd want your young quarterback to play and get some reps. How do you sit these guys? How many good quarterbacks are there in the NFL? Maybe 10. How many really elite guys are there? 5? Let's be honest. You got Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. Who are we going to put Hurts in that category? Are you going to put Dak up there? Puts up stats. There's really not a lot of Tua. I mean, it's really Mahomes and everybody else. And some of these guys, Burrow's been hurt 2 of the last 4 years. I mean, okay, he went to Super Bowl. He's been hurt. Stats, Patford and Goff, are they elite kind of guys? Nobody's running it. Nobody wanted Goff. They traded him after a Super Bowl. And all these young guys, C.J. Stroud had a nice year. Wouldn't you want to see him improving? I mean, Davis Mills had a nice year for the Texans the year before. They let him go. Sam Howell he's 23. He's on his second team already. He was supposed to be the number 1 pick 2 years ago in the draft. I let the guys play. It affects the game. It affects. Hello, Mac Jones, 4 coordinators in 4 years. He's backing up a guy. I don't like it one bit. I think it affects the product. And then, let's just change the kickoff rule. Yeah, I don't know. I did bet the Bears this week 2.5 because I think that's a franchise that they're pumped up over Caleb Williams. They got a new coordinator, a lot of hype. Like, hey, we're going to be good this year. The Chiefs did their thing. They played a little bit of a game. They ended up losing late to the Lions, which was bizarre. You think the Lions wouldn't have cared less about that game, but I don't see the Chiefs do much. I'm about to wrap up little NFL preseason and be like, why am I even bothering? I can't. They don't even go off their own scripts anymore. Like they tell you what to do.
Yeah, and to the point, actually, I commented on this. And for anybody that's watching, I started writing a new article. Okay, it's line moves. Okay, it's a Gambler's World, and I covered some preseason games last week. And that's one of the things I talked about is that, and I've talked about other places. I guess we've been fortunate that the coaches would tell us the truth for years about what their motivations were. So, because they're under no obligation to do that. It's just, hey, you know what?
It's preseason.
Everybody else lies about everything, so why can't they? Okay, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But same thing. I mean, Cincinnati coach came 2 weeks ago, said, "Hey, you know what? After starting 1-3 and 0-2, we are going to come to play. I want my team ready to go for the start of the regular season. We don't want a slow start again." So what do? What have they scored? 8 points or 6 points or some ridiculous amount of points after 2 games? No effort. Browning didn't play at all last week. He was supposed to play. So I mean, it's just that stuff. So I mean, it's just. It literally has become, in the preseason, to me at least, buyer beware. So I know myself this upcoming week, I'm going to try and look for my 1 or 2 best plays. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to look for 3. I'm not even going to consider anything more than that, and I'm just going to try and hone in and get on the right side of it. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I agree. It's let's wrap up the preseason. We got week 0 college football. Again, not really sexy, but you should be pivoting to getting ready your NFL numbers and your college football numbers and baseball. Here we go with baseball. We saw a 11-4 under of a Sunday action, and I'm under the impression, and normally, and again, I've had a rough August. I think I'm like 17-24 to start. So it's I'm still having a nice season. We're up, I think, 22 units on a year, but it's been a little difficult. We have unders when you think it's summertime. Hotter, humid, hitters in grooves. Maybe not that it's a juice ball, but there's still homers aplenty. Pitchers maybe hitting little dead spots. Rookies hitting walls. Veterans just having a rough patch here and there. It happens over 162 games and 30-something starts for guys. We see teams go on win streaks, losing streaks. I've been reining in my plays. I had a game yesterday. I ended up catching Detroit Tigers. Never in doubt winner there. That's like being down 1-0, bottom 9, 2 outs. Easy win in extra innings. Those are the things that make sports betting easy. But I'm a rein it in kind of guy now. It's kind of like, what? Hey, let's take the Astros. Besides the fact that they're minus 400 on the money line, they're minus 171 lines. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't do that. No. I mean, your thoughts on reining in plays? I want to rein them in. Forget about NFL football preseason. Baseball's a time. Huge lines. And the unknown.
Yeah, I mean it's what you do, and I've done this for years. You get to about this point of the season, maybe right, the 20th or so of August, and just start taking games, just cross them off the board. Okay,
Right.
I mean, just don't even look at them. So now you're looking at maybe 7 to 10 games as opposed to a full slate. And I just think that's the smartest way to go. And then there's so much volatility that really kicks in now. I mean, you get basically, to me, after you get past April, May through July, there's a rhythm to the game. Okay, that doesn't mean you win all the time. Nothing to say like that. But there's a rhythm that you can follow, and you can easily identify the mistakes you make. Okay, in many circumstances. But I'll say once you get to August, pressure on some teams to win not coming through, others giving up. Okay, all of those factors come into play. The money lines just fly now. 400 minus 400 in August. I don't know what I mean. It is the White Sox. Okay, that's historic. I get it, but no. But so yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm in agreement with you on that. I think that's a better way to go is just be more selective. And then one thing that I have, I don't know, say I've fallen in love with it, but I like the premise of it is the adjusted run line. So instead of doing -1.5, you get say a favorite that's -170. Okay, you like the game. You just don't want to pull the trigger on that. Well, take that. Maybe you can take it down to -140. Okay, in that range, just depending on what the odds makers think of the game. And so you reduce your risk. Okay, and if you don't get the exact outcome, you win, but they win by a run, you don't lose. Nothing wrong with that to me.
Yeah, and I do my run lines because I don't want to lay. I get fancy and I don't want to lay 140. Let me take a 155 like a moron sometimes. And again, that's last year. You do that, and then you get some losses start piling up, and you're thinking you're smarter than the books. And I always say, you're not smarter than these guys. They import water and food into deserts and islands, so they're smarter than me. So I get away from that, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just pass on that game, or I'll lay the 140 at times when I have to. But yeah, the -1, and you could also go into people like to do the pitcher to get a win, right? So and so for the win as opposed to better, or a no bottom 9 at bat, right? Why wouldn't you a no bottom if a team's laying a big chunk? Hey, no bottom 9. They should be blowing the team out, right? I mean, you're a $4 favorite. That game shouldn't be close. It shouldn't be a 2-0 game like the Astros did the other day, or yesterday it was.
Yeah.
Right? Huge fave. But they also sat everybody. But I think Yordi was the only regular player. I think they had 4 rookies in the lineup. They threw in that lineup. So, again, scary things on a Sunday. It's a rest day for some guys. Oh, let's pull everybody out because, I'll give them a day off because this team's terrible. And you're sweating a -170 on a run line? 170 on a run line. These are like Maddox, Pedro Martinez type numbers back in the day. I mean, this is crazy stuff. But
yeah, I agree with you 100%.
I'm with you. I like the run lines, -1s, no bottom 9s. You have to adjust. If you want to bet it, you're going to have to circumvent some of these numbers because we're not going to come in here and condone laying like 240s, 250s. Normally you see these huge numbers. A lot of them pop up during the week in September, right? Because it's at that point you got the call-ups, all the young guys. Thank goodness football's here because I don't have to worry about putting out, 50 baseball games like I would be doing during April and May. But, September football, I could find a game. Or like you got to cross out some games. You have to. You have to. And speaking of games, 3, 7, and 30-day packages guaranteed at gamblersworld.net here. So hit the like button on the YouTube channels here. We're all on the Twitter X World. Me, Doug, Gamblers World ourselves. Maybe we could talk the boss man into doing some kind of contest here for football season. I don't know. I'm all about getting people involved on the gamblersworld.net site. So maybe I'll talk to the big guy and get something going for some kind of giveaway for a weekend. I don't know. We'll kick it up to a week, maybe a month for somebody. Who knows? We'll see what we can do. We got to get people watching. I know they will with football coming because mid-August for baseball's not really a sexy time. Any thoughts before we jump into baseball here? We got Georgia Tech and Florida State. I've been pumping Georgia Tech on here for over a month. They were 13.5 dogs. Now they're down to 11. Any thoughts about this game? I mean, SMU's laying like a 20-something to Nevada in a rebuild. Hawaii laying 30.5. I want to say maybe an under in that New Mexico game. New Mexico's getting 10. That line was 4.5 at opener. It's up to 10.5 now. New Mexico getting from Montana State or something. I like the under. I like the under in that game.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. With this week, to me, this is kind of like week 0. That the name of it actually makes sense. Okay, because my interest level is close to 0. Okay, this week, if you're gonna have a week 0, then have something. All right, don't give me one game. Okay, which is borderline, and you have to go to. I don't even know where they're going to.
Are they in Ireland or England? Where are they?
Yeah, it's either England or Ireland, one or the other. But so my interest level on that, I haven't done a lot with that game yet. I've just kind of looked at some things, been reading a variety of magazines, particularly over the weekend, so really catching up on a lot of stuff. But like you said, SMU Nevada, something on. But
ACC SMU, by the way, folks.
Yeah, that's
ACC
right.
SMU.
Right. That's right. So yeah, technically it's even though it's not a further road game, in theory it is, because you're going ACC to Mountain West now.
Yes.
Okay? So
what is that?
So it's like I say, with this week 0, either make it something, to where there's 10 games, okay, and 5 of them are, let's call it FBS games, or let's just do away with it, one or the other. Let's not straddle the fence on this one. But as far as the so to be honest with you, on this game, I'm just going to hold off. I'm looking at actually the side and the total on that one, and so I'm going to likely have a play on that one, because SMU and Nevada holds not much for me, just overall. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm going to come up with something there, but obviously be a very small play on that.
Delaware State money line, or do you like them 38 points there?
I don't like them at all. Delaware
State.
Delaware is so small. Why do they need a state school?
Wow.
What's wrong with Delaware University?
We like the Blue Hens. Yes.
Do we need Delaware State?
Why are we going to this trip in August? I get it's a nice summer vacation to go to Hawaii for a few days, but schedule this in November when Hawaii needs a cupcake. Like, hey, we'll come out in November. Nice trip out of Delaware in November to go to Hawaii, not in August.
Right. Yeah. Well, then, by the way, where do they get the money to go to Hawaii? That's what I want. I mean, 65 players on a plane going from Delaware to Hawaii, have to feed them everything
What's
else.
What's the payday for them?
What is the payday? I can't imagine the NIL program is that strong.
Delaware State. What I'm saying? Like, teams usually go for these kind of games to get paid. I get it. Right. We're a MAC team. We're going to go play at the SEC and get $250,000, whatever. What is Delaware State getting from Hawaii? Like, like you said, what's the airfare out there?
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
What alum's giving them a jet?
And then Hawaii. I mean, they're playing still in basically a glorified high school stadium.
Okay, yes, because they're redoing the other stadium.
Right. So they're redoing that. So, and I would love to know the last time at any game that Hawaii had a sellout. I can assure you this one won't be. So I don't know. Somebody paid for something in order to get that done. Haven't done the research to find it yet, but and likely won't, by the way. But it's just it doesn't make much sense. But hey, you mentioned something about baseball. I'll make this quick. Watching games, extra innings. Okay, so you start with the runner on second. I know you're not a fan. I'm okay with it. That's fine. But it's just. So then you get the guy over to third with 1 out, okay, and or maybe there's a walk, or you get a hit. So now you got guys on first and third with nobody out. So I've seen this at least 15 times in the last 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, so those are your situations: on third with 1 out, or first and third with no outs, or first and third, no outs or 1 out. Infield's in, okay, trying to cut off the runner. So, so what do? They run the contact play. And, that's fine. The excuse of being aggressive, okay, well, the reason we sent the guy, he got out home because we're being aggressive. There's always that lame excuse. I almost said another word, lame excuse, okay, on that. Well, you know what? It's not a good play when the catcher has the ball holding it for you to slide into the plate. Okay, that's not a good play, because you wouldn't do that in the third inning. you wouldn't do that in the 5th inning, and you wouldn't do it in the 7th inning of any game. You just wouldn't do it because it's a bad play. Why is it a good play in extra innings when you actually have the ability to win the game and you have the benefit of having a runner on second to start the inning? I am baffled by that. I have commented that on Twitter. That particular play, I can't even come up with an excuse for them, other than the one they make, that we're being aggressive. That's not being aggressive. That's being stupid, in my opinion.
I hate to run on second, but it's real simple. Who's ever up first, bunt the guy over. A sac fly or ground out scores a run. You got to run on the board. There's an automatic run. You could score a run with getting 2 outs. How hard is it? But yeah, guys get up there, swing away, pop out to shortstop, strike out, and then bottom.
And don't set yourself up for failure, though. I mean, if the guy's on third with 1 out, okay, and there's a ground ball with the infield pulled in, so that's
why are you going?
A shorter throw, you still have one more batter coming up. So take your shot there, as opposed to just running into an out. Now there's an out or 2, and now you got a guy in first base. I'm
with you. It's
new baseball.
It's new baseball, exactly, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. Well, speaking of ridiculous, people are going to be commenting like 20 minutes. You didn't even get to a pick yet. Hey, sorry. Well, we'll have a timestamp in here for you, but winnercircle.net, let's go. Hit the YouTube channel here. Hit the like button, winnercircle.net, but that, you know what I'm talking about when I say Winner Circle. So hit the like button, notification bells on. 5 days a week, free pick videos. Friday live, 1 o'clock, football Fridays. People want baseball picks on Fridays. It's a football Friday, folks. It's Football Friday, the live show. Let's go, Football Friday. All right. Red Sox Astros. This line was a 11-12 last night. It is now minus 140 with Kikuchi, total of 8, Tanner Houck. So this line's on the rise here. You know what? I thought about Kikuchi last night. I ended up not playing it. The line takes off. Now I'm scratching my bald head. But I look at some of the guys. You got like 4 or 5 guys who've hit homers off this guy. They're familiar with him. They've seen him in the AL East. Boston, for me, I really don't want to take them on the road. I saw the bullpen collapse against the Dodgers. They got beat up by Colorado. This Astro team just swept them a week ago. It's the 140. Again, this is where do I get sexy and be like, let's run line this puppy. I don't know. It's your game, Doug. What are your thoughts? Houck and Kikuchi, familiar face for the Red Sox on the hill.
Yeah, well, Boston at least will have revenge in their mind, because not this past weekend, but the weekend prior, they got swept at home by the Astros. Red Sox now are 3 games back in the loss column for the last wild card slot. So to them, this is a big series. Yeah. They can't afford to fall too much further behind here. Astros, on the other hand, Mariners were in a rowboat. Okay, Astros speedboat.
Exactly.
They're sitting still, up 5 games in the AL West. You mentioned Tanner Houck. His numbers look good. I mean, 8-8, 3.01 ERA. That's solid. But guess what? He's winless in his last 5 starts, and in those 5 starts, he's got a 4.85 ERA. Mentioned Kikuchi. He's got lousy numbers, but you know what? All of a sudden, he gets himself on a good team, and all of a sudden, he looks pretty good in those Astro threads. Got a 2.70 ERA in 3 starts with them, and the Astros have won all 3 of those games. I'm looking at Boston 15-21 against lefty starters, and to your point, since July 1st, the Astros bullpen is number 5 in run prevention. Boston in Major League Baseball, dead last, number 30. They surpassed Colorado. Let's go with, I'll take that minus 140 with Houston and not look back.
Doug's official play, Stros minus 140. As hot as the Stros have been, right? 9 out of 10. They've only crept to a 4-game lead over Seattle. And that's a team that can't find a bat and a ball to get together for a party. I mean, yet they're lingering around, and I'll be talking about that one here with Seattle and the Dodgers. The lack of hitting for Seattle. This is my game here. Dodgers with Gavin Stone. He's a 140 fave. Seattle's taking back a $120. Total 8.5. I do see some 8s creeping up here as we do the video. But man, oh man, I like Seattle. I think probably 1 to 5. They're probably the best staff in the American League. arguably probably baseball when you look at the numbers for him and Gilbert and Castillo. They have arms. They can't. When are they going to find some offense? They bring in guys, free agents the last 2 years, can't do anything. Julio Rodriguez forgets how to hit. They wave Ty France. They go after a Rosarena. I think he had like a good at bat in the game, and they nothing since. Wu, 8 road starts, a .99 whip. The guy's ridiculous. A .85 whip on a season, 14 games. You think he'd be undefeated? No, he's not undefeated because he's on a team that can't drive in any runs. Hard. Man, if I'm a Seattle fan, talk about wasting pitch. This is as bad as the Orioles wasting this season, not going after a bullpen arm.
Yep.
Another year. Last year they had Robbie Ray, who was good. Good pitchers last year. Couldn't get it done at the dish. Good pitchers this year. They might not make the playoffs, which is crazy. I mean, they're on the outside looking in a little bit here. 5.5 back. They went on a run. They had a 10-game lead at one point in the AL West over a slumping Astros team. I don't want to trust Stone here laying 140. Dodgers back off the road trip, and I like Stone. Here's a rookie. Everybody talks about Skeens. Somebody talks about this guy or Armana having nice seasons as rookie pitchers. I'm going to look at the under here. Give me the under. Mariners hitting woes continue. 226 is the third worst in baseball average-wise. Dodgers at home. Wu is just a good pitcher. There's nothing else to say. Who's the first one to 4, I think, wins this game? If the Mariners get up before, well, I mean, they'll be jumping up for joy. I'm going under. I'm going under 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle has fallen off a cliff like an anvil, just like that. I mean, that's
hitting. It's terrible.
But you know what? I'm going to give him a shot tonight in an instance here to maybe get something done. Even though the Mariners score less often than somebody from New Jersey going to a nightclub for the first time in Vegas. Okay. But, I'm like you. I think a big Brian Wu fan, and, his last 5 starts, 1.14 ERA. Gavin Stone, numbers are good, 10-5, 3.63 RA, but his last 5 starts, it's at 5.11, so he's been up. And if you look at his numbers, right-handed versus left-handed, dramatically higher batting average, slugging percentage, and OPS against right-handed batters, so he struggles there. So here's what I'm going to do. This is a little bit different. I actually bet this one earlier. Right. I'm going to take Seattle on the first 5, but here's what I'm doing. I'm going to take them on the first 5. First of all, I took them minus 0.5 runs. Okay, so they'd have to win by a run, but that's plus 145 odds. But then I'm also taking them at minus 130 at plus 0.5. So if they have the lead, of course I win both bets. Okay, if they don't have the lead, I'm going to lose both. But if the game is 0-0 or 1-1, at least I get a push.
Yeah,
I'll take that. So that's my unofficial play. Okay, on this one, yours counts, mine doesn't.
Yeah, but yours is a good look. It's either way. I mean, you got 2 games in action. You could 2-0 or 1-1 with a push. That is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked it up. I thought, hey, you know what? These numbers are acceptable. Wu can certainly shut down the Dodgers. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he certainly can. Stone, a little iffy more lately. So no. So, but yeah, I think the under is not a bad choice on that one too, because if it turns into a bullpen game, both teams are a little bit unreliable at times, but generally speaking, they're not bad.
Official play under the 8.5 here, Dodger Seattle. Doug, Red Sox, Astros. He'll be back in Kikuchi and Houston minus 140-ish. We got 143. It's around those numbers. All right, so just always shop around on the best lines. Also, hit the like button here on the Winner's Circle YouTube channel. We appreciate you hitting the like, subscribe. Leave a comment afterwards. Let us know what you think of the games. If you're looking for a game for next week, look at the schedule next week. We'll cover your game for you in the chat. How about that? That's how we'll do things here. $5.99 NFL early bird. Go get it. Baseball rest of the season, just $3.49. All picks, 3 738 packages are guaranteed. If we don't show profit over those days, you get a little credit back, and then boom, jump on board with any of our other cappers. So that'll be one capper. So that leaves you with 12 other men to choose from to get back on track. which we will. NFL, 2 weeks away. Week 0 is here for good, bad, or indifferent. And we got baseball, playoff push time. Here we go. The boys of summer wrapping up for us. And I'm wrapping it up for Doug and his Astros, for me and my under Dodgers. Back tomorrow with Chipper. Hopefully all is well with him. He had a couple things to take care of today. We will see you then. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.